It happened just after 9:15 in the morning on September 23rd when a woman in her 50s drove her Porsche through the wall and over the edge of this Coral Gables parking garage on the corner of San Remo Avenue and South Red Road. By sheer luck, the car was caught by a tree where it got lodged, leaving it suspended over 30 feet above the ground.
Luckily, there was a tree in place that stopped the vehicle from falling out into the street.
I saw part of the woman. I saw her in the door of the car and then the firefighter rambling down and then coming to get her out the side.
And even first responders were surprised at the scene that unfolded.
But it's one of the first that I've seen in my career. Something that's this dramatic in the last 19 years, probably one of the first times I've seen an accident like this, especially with favorable results.
The scene was chaotic but highly coordinated, with more than 30 fire officials responding in less than 7 minutes. Division Chief Xavier Jones from Coral Gable Fire Rescue described the intense rescue situation that unfolded on the ledge right there behind me.
We had a firefighter that was lowered by the rope into the vehicle, and we rescued her from them.
Structural engineers evaluated the building and found the only major damage to the structure was a concrete barrier that fell when the car hit it. Fire rescue and engineers agree that without the tree, the accident might have turned deadly.
It could have landed on another car that was parked in a parking space there. It could have went nose down dive, ended up ejecting the patient from the vehicle. So she really got lucky. This type of accident is definitely few and far between.
Fire Rescue warns people about double-checking safety features before operating a vehicle.
I just say on the driver's side is just making sure that you're paying attention. Accidents do happen, but just trying to be more vigilant to ensure that the car is either in park or whatever direction of travel that you're trying to go, and making sure that you're oriented with gas or brake.
The police have not released the woman's name, but they told us she was taken to a local hospital and suffered no serious injuries. Nobody else was injured. Regina, Potenza, UMTV. With no family members living nearby, Broward County resident Casilda Smith felt more isolated than ever when the COVID pandemic hit.
She was the first one that came here, and then we talked about everything.
And Casilda is not alone. According to a 2022 Forbes article, Florida is the second loneliest state in the U.S. But now, one organization is working to change this.
That's not for her.
Her is Tracy Miller. She's a volunteer at Heart to Heart, an organization that connects thousands of volunteers across South Florida with seniors they can visit and keep company.
I love being a part of her life. I love hearing her share her stories of her life. And that's what we do when I come visit her. And we just sit in front of the window and we talk. We're both blessed. We're both blessed to find each other, and we've both been blessed by Heart to Heart.
It's a blessing me to her, because I know whatever she do, I would find somebody else doing like what she do for me.
Casilda said that Tracy's visits to her home are always the highlight of her week. But Heart to Heart doesn't just operate here in Broward County. They actually have thousands of seniors and volunteers all the way from Palm Beach down to Miami-Dade and are looking to expand.
Heart to Heart was created in Fort Lauderdale in 2010. Heart to Heart's mission is to connect, advocate, respond, and engage. But the biggest gift Heart to Heart has given seniors is hope.
I think you can just even give a senior the hope to continue, living another day.
Over 1 million seniors in Florida currently live alone, according to Florida Health Charts, and that number is steadily increasing. And as for Tracy and Casilda, 4 years of friendship has evolved into something bigger.
It's been a good relationship. I don't know if you would call it grandmother, granddaughter, mother, daughter, aunt, but it feels like family. I can't identify what family member it would be, but we do feel like family.
The only way I forgot her is when I'm not breathing no more. That's the only time I will forget her. And that's enough.
Casilda shows that even at 90 years old, it's never too late to grow your inner circle.
She is more than pocket in my children. She's more than her pocket. The rest is that never happened.
Regina, Potenza, UMTV. Trumpets, drums, Saxophones. Musical instruments are usually the first thing people associate with school bands. But at the University of Miami, the girl leading the Frost Band of the Hour during halftime is not a musician. She's the band's baton twirler, the first the band has had in years.
I had to figure out what a twirler's job was in this band. Sometimes they let you have complete control. Sometimes it's you're not going to twirl. So that can sometimes be really difficult. We kind of had to figure that out.
Mackenzie is a senior pre-physical therapy student from Westchester, Pennsylvania. She has been twirling since she was 6 years old and now organizes her performances completely on her own.
She's a little bit of a unicorn within the band. She does something that nobody else is doing. She doesn't rehearse with us the same way everybody else has to. She's left to her own devices a lot, but she still manages to put out this just amazingly professional product.
Mackenzie also doesn't receive any funding from the school, so she pays for her own outfits, including the 6,000 Swarovski crystals that are needed to bedazzle each outfit. And Mackenzie's sister spends 30 hours per outfit gluing each crystal down one by one.
It's kind of something fun for me to do when I'm not in college, so it's kind of a way for me to still stay involved with baton a little bit since I stopped twirling 4 years ago now. That was kind of around the time that I started doing the designing for Mackenzie, so it's just a good way to keep me still involved.
And while baton twirling might not seem like the most dangerous job on the football field, it is when you light two of them on fire.
You just have to keep them moving because if you don't, the flames will get really, really large. I mean, it's a little bit scarier, especially if you're doing 2 or 3 or a little bit more scary.
Mackenzie is only allowed to twirl fire at Hard Rock Stadium on weekends where there is no NFL game there. While very rare, sometimes there are hiccups in flaming baton twirling, like this past weekend when the flaming batons dipped in kerosene took a few tries to ignite.
You make it a show them that you're relighting on the other ends, and then you're like, oh, look at me, I'm lighting this one.
Mackenzie practices 3 times a week with the Frost Band for 2 hours each session, and on the weekends with a private coach. In the US, there are around 1 million baton twirlers total, around 350 collegiate baton twirlers according to the National Athletic Trainers Association, and less than 500 professional twirlers in the country. Since twirling batons is such a physical activity, almost all twirlers have to end their careers in their early 20s.
My body is hitting a point where sometimes it's getting a little hard for me to do what I used to be able to do. It's time, but it's also, it's sad.
And for Mackenzie, this season twirling will be her last as she is graduating in May.
It's kind of bittersweet because I'm having so much fun, but it also is sad because it's been a part of my life since literally I was 6 years old. It's always going to be a part of my life.
With no other twirlers in line to take over Mackenzie's role, she created an Instagram account so future UM twirlers can one day learn from her experiences and follow in her footsteps. South Florida is known for its warm weather and sunny skies, making it a great place for sports like football, baseball, and basketball. But there's one sport that may not come to mind: hockey.
I did not know we had a hockey team here.
More than 40 years after the United States experienced its miracle on ice when the American Olympic hockey team defeated the Soviet Union in 1980, the University of Miami had its own miracle on ice.
I wasn't sure whether we were going to lose this program or not.
The University of Miami's club hockey team has been around since 2011, but 3 years ago, it was on life support. While most club hockey teams could register up to 30 players, UM's team had just 10 players regularly showing up to games, including the coach Tom Amello's son. In 2019, Coach Amello stepped in, hoping to turn things around.
The team was struggling at the time, and the coaching staff disassembled.
Miami-Dade County has only one public ice rink, forcing UM's hockey team to compete for ice time with public sessions, figure skaters, and other Miami hockey teams. As a result, the team is limited to 1 late-night practice per week from 9 to 11 p.m., creating major challenges for UM's season.
The program was ready to fall apart, and he asked me if I'd help out.
And the seasons did not start out great for Coach Amello's team. In the 2021 to 2022 season, the team won 2 games. The next season, they won only 1, leaving Coach Amello wondering if the program was even worth saving.
I actually was leaving the team when my son was graduating, and I had 2 players that I really liked came up to me and said, would you stick around and continue with us even though your son is graduating? And I couldn't say no.
Let's take them, all right, boys? Let's go.
Team captain Max Mensmer and assistant captain Sam Stone knew the team was in trouble.
It's mixed feelings. I mean, you play the game for so long, like, there's a point where you know that you have to move forward to the next thing, but everything was a struggle that season. There's no other way to describe. I mean, it's 1-17. It was pretty depressing in terms of losing that many games.
That was kind of tough. Honestly, like, one of the only things that kept us going and kept everyone, like, showing up was just because we, like, loved each other so much, and we loved coming and playing hockey.
Players like Max and Sam are the reason Coach Mello continued to make his weekly commute here to Kendall Ice Arena. And by weekly commute, I mean a 3-hour flight every Thursday from New York to Miami, and every Sunday flying back from Miami to New York every single week during the season from September to April.
Max is one of the reasons why I'm still here. He is the soul of this team. Sam is another person who has really come along. He's really stepped up his game and has become a leader. They're like big brothers on the team, and they're watching over everybody, making sure everybody's in line, doing what they have to do for the team. It's everything.
And then it happened. This ragtag group of guys who just a couple years ago barely had enough players to compete won the Division III AAU National Championship.
Hurricanes, you've made history. Congratulations.
And it is as close to family as it would get, with the players looking up to Coach Mello as a mentor and a father figure.
When I first got in, I kind of got in a lot of trouble hockey-wise, the penalties and all that kind of stuff. And he was like one of the only coaches ever to be able to sit me down and have like a true conversation and be like, Max, like, we don't need to do this. Like this is all about to be fun. Go out there, have fun. He really cares about what I'm getting out of this more than just like what's happening with the team. Most of the time he's our dad.
He's just a guy that you can come to with anything, whether it's about problems or anything that you have on the ice, questions, or anything that you have personal. He's just a great guy to talk to. So I can't think of a more trustworthy individual that I'd want behind me on the bench and beside me on the bus.
And with the Florida Panthers winning the Stanley Cup this year, hockey is suddenly the hottest sport in South Florida. And Coach Mello's goal? To keep the UM team going and to provide a chance to anyone who wants to play hockey at the University of Miami. Regina Potenza, UMTV.